Hello. Hello, hello, hello. You almost got a no background sound video, but then I'm gonna do purple. But then my fridge decided to turn on, so now there's some background noise, but I also feel like it's not one of my videos if there isn't some background noise. The lighting might change again. I think it's okay. So today's video is going to be a reading list or reading recommendations and my reading list for Black History Month. So today is February 1st and it is the start of Black History Month. The start of Black History Month. It is important to always be, well, not just in reading, but just in reading, always be reading diversely year round. Okay, if you're gonna just come and be like, it's this month, let me pretend to care about this person for this month, and then the rest of the year you go back to doing absolutely nothing. Okay. We aren't doing that. We are not doing that. Okay. If you want to be an ally of anyone, you're going to be an ally year round, and you're going to be actively working towards becoming a better person. Alright, I have read so many things this past few years, a lot of nonfiction, enlarging my brain, but I still have so much to learn, and that is the most important thing to always keep in mind. Is there's always something else that you could learn. There's always going to be something that you realize that you're doing that you're gonna be like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm doing that, but you're learning, and it's okay. So today's video is going to be a reading list, so it's going to be a lot of book tapping, book paper sounds, talking about my favorite books. I have two piles sitting next to me of books by Black authors that I've already read, so they are not on my reading list, but I want to show them to you guys. And the other pile next to me is a lot shorter, but it's the books I'm going to be reading for Black History Month. Excuse me, hold on. Okay. Oh my god, I didn't even look at that shelf when I pulled books, but I actually think that's okay. This shelf that's like right next to me is my like series shelf, so it's almost all fantasy, and then it's all like series, so authors that have like really long series. So most of the books on the shelf are the books I've had for like years and years and years, so it's now very diverse. But I have all of these books that I'm showing you are books that I own. Okay. The physical reading list is pretty small because I'm going to be reading a lot of my books online. And this one is just the dust cover because the book's over there and I just didn't feel like going and getting it. But this is The Principle of Moments by Esme Pearson. The cover is this, like, the cover's awesome. None of these are going to be, I can like, actually, ooh, that like actually shows pretty well. So it's this sci-fi fantasy space book. It takes place over centuries. It's got time travelers and royalty, and it takes place in like 1800 and then in like 6000, so a lot of time travel, just a lot of fun stuff. I just got a low battery, so we're gonna hurry up, but I haven't started reading it yet, but this is my next read. That's why I just saw the discover, because I already have the book sitting waiting to be read. Next is How Dare the Sun Rise. It is a memoir, Memories of a War Child, by Sandra Uwiringimana, to the best of my abilities. This is a memoir. I bought this used, so it's got some folded edges, but yeah, it is a memoir nonfiction, and it is about the author's experience growing up in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. So, while learning so much more about Palestine, I have also been trying to learn more about other conflicts, things that are going on in the world that is not just the US, because other places matter. So, the Congo and Sudan are two of the main things that I want to learn more about this year. So this is where we're starting with that. I also have a book about Sudan that's on the way. I just don't have it yet. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's coming tomorrow that I'm gonna add to my reading list. I don't think so. And I don't know who the author of the book is, so I don't know that I like wanna include it in this part. I need to go quicker, my phone is dying. Okay, the last physical book that I want to read this month is A Phoenix First Must Burn. It is an anthology edited by Patrice Caldwell. It's got a bunch of different stories. The little reviews: The Life Really Queer, As Diverse as the Black Experience, fantasy, sci-fi, and magic combined in this powerful volume of spellbinding narratives. I believe all of the others are black. Yes. 16 stories of black girl magic, resistance, and hope. So I think a lot of them are fantasy, but looking forward to that. Now onto books that I'm recommending you. I've already read them, they're great. We're gonna start with adult romance. This is Stars in Your Eyes by Kacen Callender. It is a MLM celebrity romance. I rated this 5 stars. There are a lot of trigger warnings for it though. There is it discusses addiction. It is a dual point of view. I really like it. Has some like media worked in with it too. And I love books that do that, you know, like have like text messages. This one has stories from AO3. If you know, you know. Okay. Next we have Outdrawn by Deanna Gray. This is also an adult romance. It is a sapphic romance. We have 2 comic artists that are rivals. They are working on the same comic like as their actual job, but they are also competing in a webcomic competition. They went to college together, and you know, they are hopelessly falling in love. It's great. It also discusses like learning how to ask for help, I would say. Both of these characters have a lot of walls to break down. Next, we have Act Your Age, Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert. Talia Hibbert is, I love her so much. I love her so much. She's like my favorite romance author. I'm like currently making my way through reading her entire, like everything she's written that's still available to the public. I might have gotten, I think I have like 2 more books to read that I will read through, but Eve Brown is probably my favorite. This is a part of the Brown Sisters trilogy. It follows Chloe, Danny, and Eve. In this one we have Eve and Jacob. In the beginning of the novel, you find out it is dual point of view too. You find out that Jacob has autism, and then you know, throughout the length of the novel, Eve finds out that she's also autistic. Yeah, she hits him with his car, has to stay and help him run his B&B because he's been hit by a car. It's great. I love it. They're funny, they're sexy, they're amazing. I might read this one. I probably won't. I shouldn't. I need to read other things. I reread this so many times. I reread this like 5 times already. But I am for sure reading Chloe Brown. What is it called? It's over there on my shelf. I just didn't grab it. But I am reading the Chloe Brown one this month. It will be the 2nd time reading it, but it's been a little bit since I reread it. So. Last adult romance is Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. This is a second chance, a divorced couple who has kids together, who owns a business together. and is trying to decide if they can fall back into each other or if that is a horrible idea. It's a lot deeper than, well, I don't want to say deeper, a lot of the romance, but it's heavier, I guess. There's a lot of content warnings for this as well. Yeah, it's incredible writing. I love, well, okay, I don't usually love second chance, it's not my favorite trope, but this was my first time ever reading it with like a divorced couple. I really enjoyed it. I think Kennedy Ryan has another book coming out, or it already did, but I have that on my TBR as well. Look at the sparkles. It's so pretty. Okay. The next book is a YA contemporary romance. It's got romance in it, but I wouldn't necessarily call it a romance book because it's We Deserve Monuments by Jazz Thomas. This is also a queer book. It's incredible. I really need, this wasn't originally on my list, I really need to reread this year though. It's been 2 years since I read this. It's a 5-star. I recommend this to so many people. Avery is our protagonist. I believe it's single point of view, but she moves into the South and with her grandma who is sick and dying, and while she's there she meets some friends. I don't know, it's just great. I don't know how to describe it. It discusses generational trauma and first love, queer love in the South. It's chef's kiss. The next book, I don't even know how to describe the genre of this. This is Pet by Akwaeke Emezi. This is like it's YA. I really don't even know what genre to describe it as. Fantasy, but it's not like a fantasy. Okay, let me just read the back. How do you share the truth when the world is in denial? There are no monsters anymore, or so the children in Lucille are taught. Jam and her best friend Redemption have grown up with the lesson that the city is safe for everyone. But when Jam meets Pet, a creature who some might call monstrous, but in reality is anything but, she must reconsider what she's been told. Pet has emerged from one of her mother's paintings to haunt a true monster, and the shadow of something grim lurks in Redemption's house. No one has encountered monsters in years, though, and Jam's request to protect her best friend and uncover the truth is met with doubt and disbelief. There are so many times in this novel where I'm like, I think this is going right over my head, but it is still so beautiful. It's just, the writing is absolutely incredible. Really, really, really it is. Two more books, we're almost there. Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. This is a YA fantasy. The magic, it's an urban fantasy. It takes place on a college campus. I don't remember which college. UNC Chapel Hill. I love this because the magic is more based in, like, the magic system is based in ancestral magic rather than like a high fantasy like fae, anything like that. I've been kind of distancing myself from a lot of fae based magic systems, and I loved this. It was so good. It's incredible. It's just so good. The only reason that I haven't read the sequel is because there's also a third book, and the third book isn't coming out until like next year, and the ending of this was already really bad, and I know that the ending of the second book is worse, and I don't know if I want to do that to myself right now. So I might read the second book this year, I might not, or waiting and seeing. But yeah, Legendborn, really, really good. It's also at the point where I'm like, I don't know who I'm cheering for. Like, so many people have kind of like went with the villain, and I'm like, I'm not convinced that I'm with the villain yet. It's like this, it's like a love triangle, but also not yet. It might be in the second book, I don't really know. But the last book is So Let Them Burn by Camilla Cole. I just got really loud, sorry. This is a YA queer fantasy. It is Jamaican based. The magic system and everything like that, the world is based on Jamaica, right? Yes. I read it. I should know. I just needed to ensure. It has dragons. It has dragon schools. It has young chosen one, and it has girl who says, screw the world, I'm going to protect my friends. It's really good. This also has that kind of like love situation where you're like, I think I'm rooting for this guy, but in the second book, it might like completely turn around and maybe I'm rooting for this other guy. It is to a point of view, it follows two sisters, and one of them bonds with a dragon of the enemy. It's so good, so good. And this just released this year. It's, I think, the newest book. Actually, this is the newest book I just showed you. I think this is the newest book, and this is the second newest. They might have come out on the same day, even. I don't know. But yes, it's Black History Month. Go learn, but learn year round. I have a lot of goals this year. For my diversity reading, I also don't give myself like number goals though, because it's kind of difficult because I don't know how many books I'm going to read overall. But if we're going how we're going right now, one of my goals is to read 100 books by BIPOC authors in 2024, which sounds like a lot, but last year I read over 200 books, so that would be like 50%, which over 50% is the goal. My other goal is to read 12 nonfiction books, which is already looking like really, really well. I just read 3 in January, but I'm not usually a huge nonfiction person. However, I